All right, in this video, we are going to be taking a look at the 3D design process. Very, very critical in any build that we do. We do everything in 3D just to make sure that it's all going to work out. And of course, if we're going to provide plans and things, we need to do this whole process anyhow. So that's why we sit down and do the 2D drawings and the 3D modeling for everything that we do before we even go to the saw and start cutting up lumber. So the purpose of this video is just to kind of give you a basic overview of the process, not necessarily teach you how to use SketchUp and all of that. This is just me, you're just kind of looking over my shoulder in the design studio as we go and lay things out. To me, it's just an interesting process. So, at any rate, first thing first, we have to create our plywood. So it's 4x8 and it's 1/4 inch thick. So if you zoom in here, you can see that in fact it is 1/4 inch thick. And if we hit T for tape measure, we can see it even tells us it's 1/4 inch. And the same thing over here, if we hit our tape measure tool, wonderful tool here in SketchUp, 48 by 96. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, we have to turn this into what we call a component, and then we're going to draw out our framing boards. Okay, so we are going to go. Our frame board is 1.5, and it is 2.5 inches thick. So 2.5. And then we're going to turn that into a component. Now, I'm going to back up because something did not happen when we attempted to turn this into a component. I don't know what, but let me just triple click on it here. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's explode this. Something is off over here. So we'll make that a component again. It's acted funny. And if it's acted funny, it's because there's good reason for it to act funny. And then we'll make that 2.5 inches thick. Now it's acting like it's supposed to. And we need to turn that 2x3 into a component as well. Now we can copy this one over here. And then we can draw our next panel, which we know is 1.5 inches as well. And that is 2.5 inches as well. And we'll make that a component. Now that should be 45 inches. So if we grab our tape measure tool, bingo, 45. So we know we're on the right track, right? And then we can go ahead and move this up here, up top where it goes up there. So now remember we did a 12-inch offset. So we'll use our tape measure tool. We'll come over 12 inches, and then we will try that again here. Let's see, what's it doing here? It's doing something weird again. Sometimes it does that. It just has to be difficult. All right. So we'll go ahead and draw in our next construction member here, which is 1.5. And this one is 2.5. And then we're going to make that a component as well. All right. So we got that taken care of. So now what we need to do is draw in those horizontals to where we want them. And so I'll flip over here and get a dimension of where that's supposed to be. And it says that's supposed to be at 30 inches. Okay, that's how it is in the 2D drawing. So we'll come over here, we'll come down to 30. And then that's where that next member will be. So it's going to be 1.5, and then this way it's going to be 2.5. I wish when we drew those, it would automatically be a component. Seems silly. The way this program is designed, we have to convert each of our members into a component. Otherwise, if we draw another member that connects to it, it'll consider that all as one. Um, and I don't know why anytime that we change the thickness of an item, why it can't automatically be a component. Drives me crazy. But so now both of those are 30 inches, and so the spacing between is also 30. See that? So there we go. So now that is our, now we do have some other members we have to put in here, but I don't feel like we can do that without having some of the other components in place. So the next thing we want to do is I am going to go ahead and add my component over here. Now I don't know where this is going to go over here, so I'm just going to kind of go like that and go 2.5, and then this is going to be 1.5 thick. Am I doing this right? Yes, I am. Okay, so yeah, this will be fine. All right, so now this is laying flat on my workbench. So I'm in the world, in this 3D world, it's laying flat on my workbench. Okay, so I want to turn this whole component upright just to help me visualize our next process a little bit better. So there we go. We are going to turn it up 90 degrees. There we go. So now in the 3D world, if I'm looking, so if you click right here, see it says this is the front view, boom. And then this is supposed to be your right side view, the back, and that's the top view, okay? So now everything is oriented the way it would be in the real world. So there is the front of our, and then this is going to be the back, okay? So there we go. So now what we want to do is we're going to come over. Remember we said the whole thing had to be a maximum of, I need to make that a component apparently. I need to, the whole thing need to be a maximum of 18 inches. So we'll go ahead and, that's not actually, this needs to be over there. So now that's a maximum of 18 inches. So if we grab our tape measure from the outside of this 2x4 or 2x3 to the outside of that 2x3, it is in fact 18 inches. Which good. That's what we want. Okay. So now what we want to do is, I'll tell you what we can do. Let's create a layer, and let's call this base. We'll just call it base for now, and I'll put those on my base layer so that I can get rid of those temporarily. I need to get rid of those temporarily so I can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to create another member here. So we want to do 1.5, and then we're going to come up, I think, 12. I don't really know just yet, but we're going to make that little block to be 12. Okay, and then I'm going to come out here, and we'll. I don't know. I'm just coming out a random amount here. And let's see. That should be 2.5. It is. Okay. All right. So let me just show you, try to explain to you a little bit of what we've done so far. So I'm going to just extend this out a little bit more. So this is how I see it. Now, I don't know that that really needs to be a foot long because we just need a little bit of a kicker block to be able to run a bolt through. So this probably doesn't need to be that long. Let's take that down 6 inches. So that's going to be our little kicker block. It's going to be 6 inches, okay? And we'll go ahead and move that over here. Grab this and put it right there. Okay, so that takes care of that. And then we need another one of these boards. over here. And I turned on my visible lines just so I could see how all this is, but you can kind of see how that's going to connect now. Okay, so we'll run a bolt from the outside, and what we're going to do, because we have these two panels that are going to connect, what we'll do is we'll use a drill bit and sink this bolt into this 2x3 here just a little bit, so the head is flush with the outside, so the two can come together nice and easy. But I can see, because this is 6 inches tall, I could see that our bolt location is going to have to be our first bolt location, because this is in the way. We have that, so probably we're going to have to come up 10 inches and put in our first bolt to hold these two panels together like that. So that's something else to consider. So here we have inch and a half, inch and a half, and inch and a half. So these bolts, let's see, we have 3, 4.5. So we're going to need like a 5-inch bolt to go through all 3 of these. Okay. It's all going to come together. I promise. It's all going to make more sense here in a moment. All right. When I figure out if it makes sense to me or not. So, okay. So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and turn on our base. And first of all, I want to fix this. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to take this back to here. Okay, that's the first step. And then this one here will make unique, because I'm probably going to want to bring it back out. Maybe, I don't know exactly to where. But then these will definitely, and you see how when you change one, you change the other? It's kind of a neat function of this software. So then we're going to push this back to here first, and then we're going to pull it out 1.5 inches. That's how I see that going. And then, so this we don't actually need on the outside. Well, but we do need that on the inside, so let's do that. And we'll go ahead and go to here. Okay? Let's see what the distance is here. 25 inches. I think it's worth it. I think let's go ahead and we'll move it from there to there. We'll make it unique. So then this piece we can, let's see here. I need that. And I need this face to go back to. Sometimes it's hard to see exactly what we're doing. So we ever get lost. So you see we kind of went back too far, but that's okay, because we can bring it back out. And now we can see things a little bit better. We can go ahead and connect it there. All right, so now you can see how by bringing it into 3D, we can visualize everything much, much better this way. And so far, so good. I'm just sitting here thinking mentally exactly how all this is going to go. So what we need to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to do 2.5 and pull that down to 1.5. We'll make that a component, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring that out to here. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. I don't know that we need this though. I don't think we need that overhang. So we'll just get rid of it. We'll make that all flush. I think that's okay like that. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and bring this piece over. Put it there. And I think we're okay there. And I don't think we need the overhang on this end either. So this is going to be, let me see. Tell you what, we'll call this base 2. And so that piece, this piece, this piece, and this piece is all going to be part of base 2. And then see how we can turn that on and off? So that will help us visualize things a little bit better. So this is going to be our support base right here. And then we can, the customer can decide if they want to put on, probably what I would do is go ahead and put on a little piece of plywood here. Now, this wasn't in the original quote. Let's just call it base ply. And so you can see, that's probably what I would do. And then that will give you a little platform to put your weights on, your sandbags, whatever. You could choose to do that, choose not to do that. Like I said, that wasn't part of the original quote, so we're not going to do that for this particular project. But now you can really see how being able to visualize this much, much better in 3D, and everything is going to be flat. So if we look at it from the left side view, if we change our camera perspective, this, now you're looking dead on. You can see that it's all going to be flat here. So everything is going to be sitting just exactly like we expect it to. Okay. So that takes care of that half. Now we still have these uprights to contend with. So I'm going to go ahead and move one out here. And I'm going to make this one unique because we are going to have to doctor it up a little bit. So first things first, I'm going to put this wherever I think I want it to start with. I'm going to pick a different set point here. So we could do it right there. That's 1.5 inches in. And so I am going to, first of all, come up, straight up, because we said we wanted it at 6 foot tall. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and then rotate this upright. We're going to use that as my pivot point, I think down here. Right? And we could just eyeball this. This doesn't have to be exact. But you see up here where that, we want that to end right there. Okay? So that's what our upright would look like. So what we'll do then is we'll swing this around and we'll draw a line there, and that will allow us to trim that back to there, and then come up here and we will draw a line from this point to this point. And even though we can't see it, tell you what, let's do this. What is that? Let's hide that temporarily, because we have that line. And we're just gonna chop that off. Okay? And then we're gonna unhide all. And that, my friend, will give us all the basics that we need for our uprights. So you can see here we're going to have a bolt that's going to go right through here. And then we're going to move this upright. And so that's what the back is going to look like. So we're going to have enough room for 2 bolts, very clearly. We'll have 1 bolt down here, and then this platform will bolt to the main frame right there. Okay? So that's it. That is the basics of our design. Now, because we have all this kind of in place, we need these horizontals, but we got to keep in mind of these support piece. So we need some horizontal support for our plywood here. So what we'll do, now that we have this, we're going to just move this right over here. And we're going to move it down 1.5, and then we will make this unique. We'll spin this back around. We'll extend this all the way over. Now up top here, where that support was, clearly our new uprights are in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here as much as I can. Move this up as much as I can where our upright is still going to clear it. So you can see we can move it up quite a bit more. And you can see our upright's still going to clear it. Now, what we can do is we can see, now that we've eyeballed it pretty close, now what we can do is see how much distance there is. So we've got basically 26.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back down. And on the inside, we'll do 26.5. So now that's exactly 26.5 inches. You can see our upright's still going to clear it. So we're good to go there. And now we have a set dimension. Now, I'm not happy with our support on this. You know, this is a big area to be unsupported. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take care of that with a vertical support. So we'll go this way. $2.5. And then we'll move that from the midpoint of this board to the midpoint of that one. And then if we take a dimension from here to here, it's 15 inches. And then this dimension from here to here is 35 inches. Okay? So, the next thing I want to do, just double check this, because I don't know if I'm, you know, it's a big span. That too is a big span. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll copy this down here. We'll make this one unique. There we go. I thought we made that one unique, but I guess we didn't. So let's go ahead and make this one unique. And because we can't, when we're putting this all together, you know what? We could. Let's just do it. We could. We could do it that way. What we can do is just kind of come in at an angle and catch this board. Or because, yeah, let's do that. That makes more sense. Let's do that. Let's get rid of these two. See, we kind of work it on the fly. Let's do this. Let's get rid of these two. Let's go ahead and move this. Let's have it go all the way through. And then these can go back to here. So, and because these are offset, we'll be able to access and screw those into this vertical really easily. And then on this side, we'll do the same kind of thing. We'll make these unique because we need to extend them. To here. And I forgot, this one we have to have 26.5. Something seems off here now, because if this one is 26.5, oh, no, let me see here. Yes, that's what I was thinking. And that's okay. We can have two, because again, when we come in with a screw, we'll kind of come in at an angle, and we'll catch this board. That'll be fine. That's not gonna be an issue at all. All right, so that is our panel kind of reimagined. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of sit back, look at this, and think of, well, ultimately, how's that going to work in the real world? Think about all the pieces and parts that go into it. And, just sitting here thinking, I think that's actually going to work out really well. I think that really will work out good. So, just for visualization's sakes, we're going to go ahead and make a copy of this. But we have to kind of flip this around a little bit because this panel needs to be on this side and vice versa. So let's do this. Let's call this base to right. What is that? Base to right. Okay, so that's the bottom. Base support right. So this and this and that, all of this, this, and this, we'll call base support right, and we could turn that off. Beautiful. And then this, we'll call it base support right, base support left, and then we'll put all of that on the left. Okay. Now, this we're going to have to rotate. And I guess we'll just do it. Make sure we're on the right plane here. So this is going to have to go like that. It's one thing that really drives me crazy about this program is like you're sitting here in 3D and trying to connect this panel to that panel, and sometimes it just doesn't like to snap exactly where we want it to snap. Okay. So now these have to get moved where they go, which is down here. And so now we have our 12-inch space here on the right and 12-inch space here on the left, or vice versa. We'll go ahead and bring in these pieces so we can see. And that, my friend, is how we're going to go ahead and get rid of that piece of plywood because we're not actually going to have that. But this is our finished 8-foot by 8-foot backdrop. That's what it's going to look like. So now what I will do is kind of utilize the 3D model and the 2D drawing because we're going to have to show where all these uprights are and all these horizontals are so that everything gets put together basically the way it's supposed to. So that will kind of be our next step, is make sure that is all going to line up when we actually put this thing together. Okay, so I will go ahead and at this point we'll go ahead and tidy up the 2D drawing, get all my dimensions in place, utilizing our 3D model, and we'll be able to get this built, I think, pretty quick. And then we'll figure out exactly how much material and everything that we are going to need to make this come together. But very happy with, I think, the simplicity of the setup, and I think it's going to be pretty easy to build and put together pretty easily for us. And so, yeah. So I think that's going to work out real well. So with that said, I said I'll go ahead and get all the 2D drawings finished up, and we'll get to actually getting this built. Thanks for watching.